I've been eyeing on a plugin called Dehancer for a while now, and recently they reached out to me and asked me to do a review. So this video will be a review of Dehancer. If you don't know what Dehancer is, the plugin that gives your digital footage a filmic look. Currently they have 63 frame profiles to choose from, and they also have print options. There's a bunch more sliders there which can have a really interesting effect on your footage. Alright, so we're in Resolve now. We're in the Edit tab, and before doing anything to the image, I want to show you what I've done at color management level. So if we click on this settings button at the bottom right hand corner, then it will take us to the project settings, and we can click on color management, and from here we can see what we've done. So we're in YRGB color management environment, and I already told Resolve that this is a slog 3 footage, and the timeline color space is Dehancer white gamut, and output color space is Rec 709. So what this means is when we drag in Dehancer, our source for Dehancer should match with the timeline color space. So you can see the timeline color space is Dehancer white gamut. Now let's cancel this window. And to add Dehancer, we need to go to the color tab. So let's click on the color tab. I'll click on this FX. You can just click on this to turn it on and off. Click on this search function and just type in Dehancer. And I'll just drag the effect in. And from here, instead of selecting Rec 709, we'll select Dehancer white gamut because that was the timeline color space. If I click on this number 01, then it will disable the effect. Now this is our Rec 709 look. If we just right click and go to bypass color management, this is the log footage. We don't want to bypass, so this is Rec 709, and if we turn it on, clicking on this number, then we'll see what Dehancer did. Now if we scroll down, then we're gonna see a lot more different effects. The frame effect is probably the most important, and at the moment it's selected Kodak Vision 3 250D, but we can just click on this drop down and we can select anything we like. So we can just click on it and we can just scroll up or scroll down, and it will change the image based on the film profile we selected. Now let's say we like this one, Kodak Gold 200. What we can do next is we can decide how much black we want in the image. So to do that, we can scroll up and go to expand section, and from here I can say, all right, I want 10, or 10 looks like a lot, maybe 5. And I think probably with white point I'm happy with where it is now. So if we click on this enable button, then it will show us what it did to the image. Exposure wise, this is probably a bit bright for my test. I'll add a new node before this node by pressing Shift S. This can be our node for primary adjustment. So we can go to the color wheel, and in offset we can just bring the exposure down. Obviously you can make the changes here, but I prefer to make the changes in another node. The theory is you want to make sure the image is at a healthy point before you send it to Dehancer. Even though Dehancer gave us a really good starting point, this is probably not the best way to learn, because at the moment we have a bunch of effects added to the clip. So let's go and untick all of them, and let's start from scratch. Now Dehancer is not having any impact on the image at all, and we can see by disabling this node is the Rec 709 image. Let's scroll up and go to the film section. Honestly, just go through the list and see what you like. So let's say we like this one. So this is the Fujichrome CDU, and the next slider we're gonna adjust is the expand. So basically these sliders are impacting the contrast of the image, and if we click on enable, and I want you to pay attention to the waveform, we'll see that it's expanding, right? The blacks are coming down, whites not so much, but still like the distance between white point and black point is increasing, meaning the contrast of the image is increasing. But at the same time, what happens if we go to retroscope and take, we can see the colors are getting more saturated, right? I like it, but let's say for some reason you may not want to adjust the color. You may want to just adjust the contrast of the image, and in that case we can change this color mode to Luma. So it's still gonna increase the contrast, but it's not gonna change the color. So for me, I actually like the normal look, so let's go with that for now. Next thing I want to adjust is the print options. So what print profile basically means is when we develop the frame, we need to print it somewhere, right? We need to print it on a paper, or we need to project to a wall or whatever. Now that paper has its own color, own tint to it, and that's what the print option is. If you're looking for some guidance as to like which print option you should select for which profile, then this page can be handy. The motion picture films Fuji Eterna and Reala, the recommendation for this top two is to use the Fuji 3513, and if you're using any of the codec vision, then you can use the Kodak 2353. This is the guidance from Dehancer. You don't have to stick to it. This is just a guide. Next slide we can look at is the film game. Now film game is a very powerful effect, and if we click on this, we'll be able to see what it does to the image. So I'll zoom in a bit. Actually, let me turn up the clip. So click on this clip. Yeah, that looks a bit better. Alright, so if we go to the film grain effect and untick that, we can see that what it's doing to the image. They do have like some presets here, so you can just click on this drop down and select anything you like. Or if you want to come up with your own preset, then you can click on custom, and from here you'll be able to adjust like different parameters of grain. Anyways, let's scroll down to halation. What halation does is it actually adds like a red border in the high contrast area. Now if we zoom in, go untick, then we can see how it's adding the red glow around the edges. Alright, so the next effect we're gonna look at is the bloom. So if we just click on enable, what this effect basically does, it adds like a glow to the highlights, and it kind of works like the black promise filter. Let's scroll down and look at film breadth. So let's look at this shot. This is a tripod shot, no movement at all. Scroll down and click on this effect, film breadth. We can see how the exposure is changing, right? The color and exposure is changing in this area. Now let's go untick this one and let's turn gate wave. And if we turn this on, we can see it zooms in a bit. Now if we play this, then we'll see the edge of the frame is actually moving. Let's zoom in a lot because it's not easy to see. So I want you to pay attention here. We can see the clip is moving just a little bit, right? And if we turn it off, then there's no movement. This is a tripod shot. So what it basically does, it kind of mimics the movement film had when it was being projected on screen. The film would move just a little bit, and that's what this effect does. Pretty cool effect. Let's look at monitors. We click on this IRE. It's actually gonna show us the IRE level of the shot. Can be a really handy feature when you're trying to match the exposure of the skin. Another handy effect is the clipping indication. So if we click on this, it's basically going to show us the clipping point. So at the moment nothing is clipping, so that's why we don't see any marks on the image. But if we go to expand section, and let's say, where is expand? So let's say if we want to darken the black a lot more, then we'll see it's turning black, meaning this is like completely black. There's no information there at all. And same with the white slider. If we move it to the left, then it's gonna turn red, meaning there's no information in the highlight at all. This is like completely white. And if we scroll down and untick the clipping indication, we'll see the information is gone and we don't have any details in the outfit as well. Now that we know a bit more about the plugin, let's talk about some of the things I didn't like. One of the sliders I missed the most was the impact slider. So what the impact slider does is it basically works like opacity, so you can adjust the intensity of the effect. And at the moment, some of the effects does come with the impact slider, but not all of them. And often I found myself that I like what the effect is doing, but I didn't like the intensity. I wanted to be able to adjust it, and I couldn't do it without the impact slider. So Dehancer, if you can include the impact slider with every single effect, that's going to be really, really helpful. And the second thing I miss the most is the undo function. So this is probably like a small one. At the moment, we have undo option at the parent level and at the leaf level. So when I say parent level, I mean the Dehancer FX level. Dehancer FX level meaning that's the top level. So if we click undo this, it's gonna undo everything within Dehancer. And other way we can undo is at the very lowest level, at the slider level. It's good that we have these two options, but it'll be handy if we have like an option at the effect level. So the answer will be very much appreciated if you can include it. You can definitely build a look from scratch, and that can be a fun exercise, but at the same time that can take some time. Now Dehancer can save you that time, so sooner or later you're gonna recover the cost. Dehancer is not the only plugin in the market for film like loop. You can check out Film Convert and this Film Box. Check out those options, see if you like it. But I guess the benefit of going with Dehancer is it's not just the look, you get a bunch of other effects with the loop, and that's pretty amazing. And what I appreciate the most is they give us a bunch of options to adjust different aspects of our film. So if you never shot film, this is a very good opportunity to learn about film. Yes, you can go on Google, but I feel like this is a fun way to learn, and I'm kind of digging that look. I love that look. I think it looks great. I just don't like the clean look. If you like the different look, the cinematic look, or the look we see in the movie, I guess the easy way to achieve that is by using Dehancer. It gives us a really good starting point. It just looks good, but still it gives us a lot of option to dial in and really come up with our own look. So give this a go if you're into that look. They do have a trial version which you can download from their website, and when you're ready to buy, you can use MO10 to get 10% discount. I'll get a small kickback from them at no additional cost to you. So if you got any value out of this video, then don't forget to hit like and subscribe for new videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.